tuning this earnings conversation. Very rarely do companies come out with a near perfect quarter, and I think Route Mobile managed to do at this time around, because if you look at across parameters, whether it's the revenue growth, whether it's the EBITDA or the margin front or the bottom line front, compared to Bloomberg estimates and most brokerage estimates, they delivered a strong beat. If anything, a question if it is can be raised or should be raised would be probably around the operating cash flow conversion. But you look at parameters, you look at client acquisition, you look at the processes, it all seems strong. And now, finally, something that I asked Rajdip the last time, is it that on the back of such a strong first half, why is it that they are guiding only for 60%? He had mentioned that he wants to underpromise and over-deliver. I think now they've confidently said that they will do at least 70% revenue growth for FY23, which is a strong sign. He joins in right now to talk about what went right in the quarter and how does that augur for the quarters ahead. Rajdip, great having you. Thanks for joining in and congrats on a good quarter.
Thanks, Neeraj. Good morning.
So let's first start with the revenue growth number. That's 75% much ahead of estimates. And you know, while billable transactions would be flat because of a Diwali-led bump up in the previous quarter, the number was not that unimpressive. So what went right for you this quarter?
There are multiple levers for our growth, Neeraj, last quarter. Like in fact, Masivian and the messaging, they have contributed well. And we got lots of OTT traffic coming to, international brand coming to India. That traffic is also increased. The banking traffic increased as well. So I think we have seen a growth overall coming from all the three companies. And if you see organic growth of Route Mobile, we grew almost by 30%, over 30%. So it's a combination of strong relationship with the customer and the product portfolio and the offering of Route Mobile, why customers are still stick with Route Mobile and they would love to work with Route Mobile. And I think just a simple math, you can say that the product and the platform, which plays a very critical role to gain more traction from the customer and the revenue.
I read in one of the notes and probably your release as well that the non-SMS side of the business is now showing some very strong traction. Now, one, I would want to understand, I believe, unless I'm wrong, that it is also in part by design. And two, how do you see that moving ahead in the quarters to come? I mean, for 2023 as a year.
So if we see the last quarter revenue, I think we did about 42 crore revenue coming from the new product line, which includes email, RCS, WhatsApp, and all other apart from SMS. We are already at the run rate of 160 crore. And the way we are growing right now, I think we are looking out to close almost 250 to 300 crore next financial year. The kind of customer we are onboarding, I think some of the large banks coming on our WhatsApp platform. So we are very bullish about that growth, and we believe that 250 to 300 crore kind of run rate we will achieve in next financial year.
Wow, that's interesting. So that's about anywhere between 25% to 50% growth. Arguably, if I annualize 160 crores for the current year, you're still looking at a 25 to 50% growth depending on what comes up in FY24 over FY23.
Right.
Got it. Okay. The other thing is, I believe you've seen both strong client additions as well as market share gains. Can you talk a bit about that?
Yes, indeed. I think we have onboarded few large OTT players again and a few banking customers as well. And in fact, as we speak, in this quarter also, we are onboarding one large bank. I think the customer win especially happened in Latin America with our Masivian company. We onboarded Falabella as a large customer, which has almost $5 million revenue run rate. I think, and Mr. Messaging has done really well. I think we were expecting about them to close about $7 million revenue, but they did about 8.5 million revenue per month run rate. So I think, and Route Mobile, it's not about just the messaging piece which is growing. I think the firewall piece also. We need to talk about the company called 𝗓𝗓65, which we acquired in 2016. I think they are doing fantastically well. We closed one large deal with Sri Lankan operator recently, which has a potential of 130 crore revenue. And at the same time, we are talking with multiple operators now. This year, we are going to focus more how to work with operators to make sure we create a sticky business for a long term. And I think exclusivity is one area which is going to play a very critical role in our growth. If we are exclusive gateway for a particular operator, which means that everything has to come through Route Mobile. And that is what the target we have given to our salespeople, and we believe that we will close another 3 to 4 large operators in the incoming financial year.
Wow. Sorry, 130 crores annually? You mentioned
it's a 2 years deal.
And it's that's what. Otherwise, it seemed a very large number.
No.
Okay. Now, talk to us about. I mean, margin expansion in the kind of business that you are in is not very easy. But I think you've beaten most estimates quite handsomely. So, one, what again went behind it, and two, are these numbers sustainable as the base moves higher?
So Neeraj, if you see the digital adoption, I keep on repeating the same thing multiple times. In most of the emerging countries, the digital adoption is still not reached to its peak. The still adoption is happening right now, and I think we believe as soon as these adoption ratios is going to increase, we will directly benefit out of that.
Okay.
And if you see the smartphone penetration in India is just about 50%, and we have over 1 billion mobile subscriber in India. So which means that in coming years down the line, if it increases by even 20 to 30%, indirectly we'll get the benefit for all our new product line, whether it's email or WhatsApp or even a digital fraud product called as which we are building right now.
So that you don't have to constantly repeat it every time, at least we talk, Rajdip, you reckon that these numbers at the bare minimum are sustainable? And if anything, when we're talking the same time next year, arguably the number would be higher, because in 12 months, the quantum of digital adoption will only move up, right? Even if it doesn't move up in 3 to 6 months.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay, good to know that. The other piece is that, as one of the notes was writing, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but the share of recurring revenue, their calculation is that about 88% is the share of recurring revenue in Q3. Now, one, can you explain the significance of this? And two, would that mean, therefore, that all incremental client additions that you do, even if you don't do, if 88% is the share of recurring revenue, then does that mean that for you to maintain the revenue run rate that you've displayed currently is not that difficult in the quarters to come?
Indeed not. I think we have a very clear aspiration as a company how to build $1 billion revenue company. And if you see the current run rate, we are almost talking about a $500 million revenue run rate as we speak. I think to do that 1 billion revenue, in coming years down the line, we really need to come up with some strategy of acquiring more customers, going into different markets. And I think the CPaaS market globally is over $65 billion market. And I think our team is very bullish, and I think we are fortunate enough to have a great people working along with me, and they're delivering great numbers. So I think it's a great team effort from our side, and I think our numbers are definitely going to grow. I can tell you.
No, $1 billion by when, Rajdip?
It's definitely, I think we have an internal target, Neeraj, on a public, I can say between 3 to 4 years, but I might achieve before that.
Hopefully that happens even before what you are internally thinking of, Rajdip. Last 1 or 2 questions, and which is the chink that 2 brokerage houses have spoken about, that if there is some weakness in this quarter, it is the OCF conversion, which the number arguably is not very high. One, is that something that you are working on, or you're comfortable with the current set of numbers on the operating cash flow conversion?
We're definitely working on that. And I think last quarter, we did some prepayment to one of the large operators, to get a better deal with them. And I think probably there is one operator deal in this quarter also. In FY23-24, we will definitely see that completely managed, and our cash flow is going to go to 50% for sure.
Oh, or 50%, I heard. Did I hear you say?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And actually, my final question is this. When you look at geographies, and you mentioned that you are trying to expand globally, I think you spoke about the SMS firewall piece in Africa, or the Sri Lankan thing. But there is also, I believe, as I'm reading out, the GCC presence getting strengthened. Now, talk to us about the importance of this piece, especially in light of the fact that economy is extremely buoyant right now because of the oil revenue. So talk to us a bit about the GCC market.
Again, I think we are now operating in 4 countries in GCC like UAE, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and Bahrain. And I think the biggest advantage we see over there are lots of marketing or what do you call the promotional traffic happens in those markets because of the tourism. And we have seen exponential growth in last few quarters in terms of the volume growth. And Saudi Arabia is the one market which is very, very digital adopted market where 80% of the people, they use smartphone or maybe more than that. We are very bullish about the Saudi Arabia market. And I think in coming quarters, if you see some of the large growth is going to come from Saudi for us.
Well, we wish you all the best for that growth and more, Rajdip. Very strong show this quarter, so keep that up. And thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking to us today.
Thanks, Neeraj. Thank you very much.
The pleasure was ours. Viewers, thanks for tuning into Route Mobile. A very strong quarter. The management confident of at least 70% growth, something that I didn't ask him about, but now it's a well-known thing. And the management very confident of hitting much higher levels in the coming 2 to 3 years.